Hi, Rogers. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
All right, you are tuning in to the Alternative Dig Talk TV. Thank you once again for always following us and subscribing. If you are a subscriber, this is the Alternative Dig Talk TV. My name is Kenneth Rwemirembe, and I always come in here to give you this amazing segment of the Mighty Global News Updates, where we tell you what's happening in our country, Uganda, what's happening outside. We believe you have to get all that information. Then after the updates, other guests and hosts come in to give you the entire Mighty Drive show, where we discuss where we have topical discussions regarding matters of national importance and other news that are happening in our country. We do discuss and delve deeper into some of those and then give you a clear picture of what's happening in our country, Uganda, and the aim is a positive change in society that does not favor a certain side or favor a certain group of people. But we believe in that good Uganda for all of us, and we always thank you for choosing us and making us your number one source of information. We have a lot of news today, this morning, here that we are giving you, and we are streaming live across all our social media handles at the Alternative Dig Talk. You can always follow us and follow these conversations we always have after the shows. You can subscribe and turn on the notification bell. It is very important, because when you turn on the notification bell, especially if you're using YouTube and you turned on that notification bell after subscribing, you'll always receive notifications telling you that the Mighty Drive is on air, and you follow us live. You don't just watch shows that have already been uploaded, but you can always follow the live stream. Thank you, and we have a lot to give you. The lovers are expecting the Valentine's Day soon, and we pray that you receive what you wish to receive, what you prayed for. And if you don't receive flowers, please, that's not the end of life. After all, we have had warnings from the Bank of Uganda warning people who are using money notes to now decorate flowers that is very bad and illegal. It's not allowed. The government now, the Bank of Uganda has warned against using money notes in flowers. And now this could be a very good reason for you to now tell your loved one that this time around you're not going to put money in those flowers. At least it could be a better excuse that is legally accepted. But let's head direct to the mighty global news updates. We are starting it with sad news of our brother in Uganda who lost his life on the battleground in Ukraine. A lot of information has been coming in saying that the government of Russia is using some foreign mercenaries, using people from Africa especially, to fight between that war, in the war between Russia and Ukraine. And now very many people have been traveling abroad looking for jobs, and now they are always promised different from what is on ground. Very many people have been promised jobs outside Uganda, but they end up getting the jobs they have never even expected. And now some people have been leaving Africa. We have had reports from Uganda, from Kenya, and from Nigeria and other countries in Africa. People leaving their home countries, especially here in Africa, going abroad to look for jobs, and now they land into the hot soup. One here is Edson Kamwesije, who is now said to have lost his life on the battlefield in Ukraine. Yesterday we were seeing her family members crying, asking the government to intervene and at least help in the repatriation of their person's remains. But this seems still difficult. The state minister for foreign affairs in charge of international cooperation, who is Honorable Minister Okello Liam, said it is very difficult for the government of Uganda to repatriate these individuals who die from outside Uganda, that they should be very careful on which agency is taking them abroad, because they are responsible for their life, and they should always go to countries where Uganda has a working agreement with them, and at least there can be a stepping stone to repatriate these people. But it seems very difficult for now. Some of the people, there are reports that indicate more people could be in Russia right now on the battlefield in Ukraine, fighting on behalf of Russia. And these people, the most sad news is that they did not leave their countries expecting to do that particular job. Most of them, at least from the reports we get from various sources, they indicate that they leave expecting other jobs like being casual laborers and doing some other work that is way different from going to the battlefield. And they did not expect this, but when they reach those countries where they expect the jobs, they are forced now to join the military, or they are left with no any other option but to join the army, and they undergo training for 1 month, and now they are sent to the battlefield, which leaves their life at stake. And now we are seeing some lose their lives, as we have heard of Edson Kamwesije now, who is no more. The family members are still crying, asking the government to help, and that the last information they had received from him was that he had gotten a job that was not what he expected. He had gotten a job to work in the military in Russia, but he had not expected that while leaving the country. This is a very great concern, and we urge all Ugandans to be careful, especially when you want to travel abroad and to get a job there. Please try to make more research about the company that is taking you outside. Try to go through the contract that you're going to sign with this company that is taking you outside, because your life should be the priority. Do not leave your life at stake or put your life in the hands of a person you don't trust fully. The government has asked people to only deal with the fully registered companies that are licensed to give jobs to these people here in the country, or look for them jobs outside the country, and to only go to those countries that have a very healthy relationship with the Republic of Uganda and have an agreement in place regarding export labor. That is it, and may the soul of the deceased rest in peace. But more information is still coming in from various countries regarding this same pressing issue. The government has said they are in in touch with the embassies responsible, the embassy of Russia, and even outside. We saw in Kenya it was also happening. They were trying to contact the officials from Russia to see how this could be stopped, how people can now not be taken into military without their consent or even without clear information on what they will be doing there. But that's it, and we do hope that the government really intervenes as soon as possible and we don't get more news like this where Ugandans are dying on the battlefield in a foreign country, their family members not aware, and themselves, the people they are fighting, did not expect such a job. Now, taking you away from that story, we learned that now some opposition figures met with the President of the Republic of Uganda, President Yoweri Museveni, at State House Entebbe. This sparked conversations all over social media, with even some saying that we do not have opposition in Uganda, that how could such a thing happen? Some members of parliament from the opposition, some who won the just concluded member of parliament elections, and others who lost. Some of them, of those who were there, we saw Honorable Yusuf Nsibambi, the member of parliament from Mawokota South. He was there, as you're seeing in that picture, with other people. Now he had a lot to say regarding that. Many people were criticizing this. Honorable Yusuf Nsibambi said all that had taken them there to meet with the president was for the good of the entire country and not for individual benefits. Honorable Nsibambi says that himself as an individual, he is rich enough. He does not need any money or financial assistance from the government or from the president. He does not need any special favors. But he had gone there to find ways of helping Ugandans, especially freeing all political prisoners, that some people were behind bars up to now due to political related issues. But if these leaders do not help, that these people, these young people, could still stay behind bars, that he knows what he talks about, because he has heard of people who were mishandled by the military and are now unable to even have children. And now that he cannot wait for this to continue, he has to engage the president, that these members of parliament had gone there, these leaders, to talk with the president and tell him the real truth, what happened, why are some of these political prisoners behind bars, why is it like that there is a lot the president does not know, and he should be told the real truth, and that's what had taken them there. He said that there are even some National Unity Platform members who were there, but they feared to take a picture with the president, afraid that they could have some negative feedback from the audience and from their party leaders. Said there were many people who were there, many opposition political figures who were there, but they decided not to appear before camera. And he said that for him as an individual, there's no reason as to why he should hide it. He had gone there for the good of the people, and he had not gone there for his personal interests. And that even all the people who were there, the discussion was centered around political prisoners, including Honorable Muwanga Chivumbi, who is up to now behind bars. That the president promised them that if anything is under his capacity, he will do it. But for the people who are in courts of law, there should be some other negotiations between now their leaders and now the government, to see how they can come together with a lasting solution, and maybe these people are out of prison. President Museveni said, according to the words of Honorable Yusuf Nsibambi, that he is ready to make sure these people are out, but he does not have all that authority to take out someone who is already in court. That now their leaders, the people who had sent them to do their work, should now engage with the government and talk with these very prisoners to see how they can get them out of this. That was the only move that had taken them to the State House to talk with the president, and no any other personal issues. But the criticism is high among some people who say that in Uganda we no longer have the opposition. Many people criticizing any move that brings these people together, that brings President Museveni and now the opposition together, with even some saying it is very good for the opposition to have a good relationship with the ruling government for better development of our country, Uganda. Now, away from that, the NRM team, especially the candidates who took part in the just concluded elections, met in Toro to discuss the way forward and how they can bring about unity amongst them. Those who lost in the election, those who won, but under the NRM umbrella, had come together to find the lasting solutions for the challenges that they are facing in their areas, and how they were looking for ways on how they can be united, have the same voice as the NRM and avoid disunity. Something they say has always left them behind, has prevented development from their areas, and that they should work really hard to make sure this is stopped. That is the NRM camp from Toro there. And in our other news, sadly, yesterday as well was the final, was the send-off of John Bosco Kibalama, someone who is up to now missing for now close to 7 years. John Bosco Kibalama's father was laid to rest yesterday in Bulonde, Namayumba, Wakiso district, and the NUP team was very bitter about it, saying that Abraham Kabugo, now the deceased and father of John Bosco Kibalama, has died without seeing his son, as he has been crying. The father of John Bosco Kibalama has been crying for asking the government to at least release his son, but this has not happened. The wife to John Bosco Kibalama also died without having to see the husband come out, and even the mother also died in the same way. Now, they are all asking the government to at least release John Bosco Kibalama if they have him in their custody. The government denies the whereabouts of now John Bosco Kibalama, but the people, the family members still say that he was abducted by state agents on the 3rd June 2019, that up to now he's still missing, and they do not know the whereabouts of their fellow, and they're asking the government to really help and make sure he is out. That is it from there. The NUP team says all these are moves by the government to silence opposition voices in the country, and they are still calling upon all agencies to release John Bosco Kibalama, who they say was abducted by them, and they know the whereabouts of, they know his whereabouts, and they should release him. But the government has never said they have him in custody, much as there were some reports that the Prime Minister, Honorable Nabanja, had said they had John Bosco Kibalama, but later on that information has not yielded positive results. They have said they do not know the whereabouts of John Bosco Kibalama. The family members are crying and saying that the father has died when even his son is not yet back, that he was the one helping the father, and now he has not been there to help. Maybe a reason as to why the father lacked some support from the son and died. And they are saying that he has lost, they are children of John Bosco Kibalama who are still there, who need school fees and financial assistance, but their dad is not there, and they do not know what could happen next. May the soul of John Bosco Kibalama's father rest in peace. Now, outside Uganda, the tension is also rising again between Iran and the United States of America. We've been giving you reports here on the Mighty Global News Updates, telling you that this could result into a war, and the negotiations were ongoing between now Iran and the United States of America, trying to stop the would-be war, but this seems still difficult. One of the most pressing issues between Iran and the United States of America is that the USA wants Iran to abandon all the nuclear programs it has, to stop their nuclear programs. Something the Russian government, the Iranian government says they may not be ready to do. Now the United States insists, and now the Iranian government responded, saying that if it is to be a clear and fruitful negotiation, all these parties should be on the same ground. There shouldn't be any kind of threatening or force. And they said if the United States of America responds with force, now Iran will also respond with force. The United States government says the government of Iran should stop mistreating the protesters, that they should not be treated in that way. There shouldn't be any extreme force put against them, especially those that are opposing the leadership of the Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And now they say this should stop. The Iranian government says they are ready to talk with the United States of America, but only when the USA does not impose force on them, does not appear to be a superior in these discussions. But if they are all on a fair ground, the negotiations are to continue. But still, many people do not think or say that Iran could surrender their nuclear program for the sake of peace with the United States of America. Now we are waiting to find out more information regarding this, what could happen next. There is tension that is building up, more military equipment is being put on standby. There are preparations ongoing in Iran, preparations going on the side of the United States of America. What could happen next only remains to be answered as time goes on. My name is Kenneth Rwemirembe. I thank you for always being part of us. But we remind you that this show is always proudly sponsored by the Digital Media. If you have any event and you want a team that will live stream it for the maybe international audience, maybe you have your colleagues or fellows or your family members who are living abroad, but they want to follow the event that is happening here in the country, and you want people who can do that. We have a team of experienced people who know what they do, and they can live stream your event at an affordable cost. The numbers you can always call are always running down there on screen, and you can always contact us, and the Digital Media will make your event colorful and memorable. We do not leave any moment behind. Trust us, we will deliver beyond even your expectations. Thank you. I've been with Alvin Lubega on camera, and in the control room I had Teddy Tenjo Nabukera. Good morning. The mighty drive continues.